Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles the Banster, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things. And today we have an excellent show for you guys here, but before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. So, as you guys know, we were one of the platforms that spent a considerable amount of time covering the news of Molly Qerim's abrupt departure from ESPN First Take. I certainly didn't see it coming. Then we started hearing from various people, even Stephen A. Smith himself. He went out, he had a pretty confusing monologue about it, where he was talking about leverage and all that, kind of alluding to that. But then, of course, he said it wasn't about her, and I'm like, okay, what was he talking about? And then later on, we started hearing that, in fact, that the reason Molly Qerim, in fact, left was because of money, right? Molly had been on ESPN First Take for 10 years, and I believe she had been at the network since 2006, but she had been on that particular show for 10 years. And if you know anything, or 10 to 9 or 10 years or something like that, and if you know anything about Stephen A. Smith, he was always quick to tell you that this is the #1 show for years and years and years. So one would have felt like, you know, if you're showing up on ESPN and you're a staple of the show every single day, you think you get paid like it, right? That's what you would think. And on the heels of after Stephen A. Smith signed his $100 million deal with the network, you would have thought that, okay, Molly must have been earning some good bucks. But as it turned out, she wasn't. And the first person that I heard mention the figure was Marcellus Wiley. He said that Molly was earning around $500,000 a year. And I'm like, well, she's earning around $500,000. Stephen A. Smith is earning $20 million. Then you have other people like Malika Andrews and others earning more than her. I'm like, does this really make any sense? It doesn't really make much sense to me. So this morning I was just looking for what to talk about, and I saw an article on Awful Announcing with the headline stating, Dogg Russo believes Molly Qerim felt embarrassed by looming ESPN demotion. And I'm like, well, we're getting to hear a little bit more what others have to think, because Dogg Russo makes regular appearances on the show on Wednesdays, right? So I'm like, okay, let's get into this. Let's talk about this here today. But before we even get into what Chris had to say, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports with over 10 million members. Prize Picks makes it easy to get real money action on the sports and players you love. You pick more or less on at least 2 for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. For example, this week on Prize Picks, I'm looking at the upcoming NBA schedule and selecting Stephen Curry for more than 29 points and Kevin Durant for more than 27 points and Anthony Davis for more than 12 rebounds and Luka Doncic for more than 8 assists. If you're like me and you like to play it safe, you'll love Prize Picks' new feature, Flex Plays. It's the safest way to play. You can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. Plus, you can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. On top of this, Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money as quick as in 15 minutes. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. All right, so let's get into what he had to say, what the article says. It says that the sudden departure of longtime host Molly Qerim from ESPN First Take was one of the most surprising sports media stories of 2025. But weekly guest Dogg Russo recently provided an educated guess on Qerim's exit that would help explain the move. News broke the evening of September 15 that Qerim could leave the show by year's end. And by the following morning, she had formally departed. Qerim served as an anchor of the popular ESPN morning debate show since 2015. In an appearance on SI Media Podcast this week, Russo confirmed recent comments from ESPN executive that the network was planning to take Qerim off of First Take, and that she likely felt embarrassed by the potential demotion. Once the news got out, Russo said Qerim pulled the plug rather than ride the year out as a lame duck. I think they probably wanted to move her around a little bit and try something different, Russo said. Not that the ratings were bad. It's just the nature of the beast. You're on air forever. They like to make a change for making a change's sake. I think they wanted to keep Molly with the network and didn't know if Molly wanted to do that. Because I think Molly probably looked at it as, if I'm not going to do First Take, I don't want to do Sports Center. So she probably felt like that would be a demotion, I would assume. Russo said he got a heads up from Stephen A. Smith that Qerim would be leaving, and later spoke with Qerim about her exit. The longtime radio host understands why Qerim would have hard feelings returning to the air after the news was out. I think she precipitated it. Probably she felt embarrassed, Russo explained. I didn't talk to her about the specifics of why she decided as soon as it was with the Sports Business Journal. But that's what I'm thinking. That she probably would have felt embarrassed if the world would have thought she was a lame duck and was still doing the show. And then the article then went on to say a few other things. It says Russo said that Qerim was very important to First Take's success and that her familial relationship with Smith went a long way towards the show's success. He then says, Molly was great to me. We had a great relationship, he said. She was a very important ingredient to what we're trying to do. Her and Steve had a great relationship. I would say big brother and sister would be the way I would pinpoint it. They knew each other well, and she listened to Stevie when Stevie gave her advice. She always listened to him. She spoke to him a lot. That's what Chris Mad Dog Russo had to say. What are my thoughts about this? At this point, it's water under the bridge. Now, I didn't know that First Take was planning to remove her off the show. I didn't know that. Initial reports stated that it was because of a disagreement, that they didn't want to pay her. They didn't want to pay her more. I also heard that she wanted to do her own show, and they were against that as well. So this is a new bit of information here. Right, I didn't know this part. He's bringing up an entire different part of the story that I never heard of. So now, according to Chris Mad Dog Russo, they wanted to remove her off of First Take, and it had nothing to do with the rating. It's a very strange show, that damn First Take. It's the same thing with Max Kellerman. They were having great ratings year over year, and then they removed Max, and it had nothing to do with the ratings. Then we later on found out that Stephen A. Smith just didn't like work on Max Kellerman. Now in the case of Molly, who had been on the show for 10 years, damn near, we're now hearing that it had nothing to do with the ratings, and instead, I'm guessing they wanted to shake things up. I don't know. I really don't know. All I know is that you got people out there like Malika Andrews and others earning more than Molly Qerim, and I think that's crazy because Molly was on the show every single damn day. Right? Every single damn day. Not to say that she should have been making anything near what Stephen A. Smith is making. No, because people by and large tune in to hear him. But my God, man, the guy's making 20 M a year just off of that show. You mean to tell me they couldn't bump her up to $1 million? I'm not, calculating these people's accounting and all of that in their pockets, but damn, so I would have felt the type of way too. But also what she said, what Chris said also makes sense as well. Like I can understand her not just wanting to be there passing time, and I guess she could just leave early and still get her money. I don't know. You guys make of it what you will, whatever you guys think. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show. Peace.